Hi friends, I'm Tani Nolenberger. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, this is Talk with Tani, your merry source to weddings. Today's topic, to veil or not to veil? That is the question. So one of my current brides actually inspired me to do this episode. She was like, Tani, I don't know if I want to veil. Can you kind of walk me through pros and cons of them and help me decide? And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I want to kind of chat about them today. But first, let's kind of do a little history lesson for you. The Veil 101 history. So, veils back in the day really symbolized that they were hiding the new young maiden from her groom. Also, it was rumored that the veil would kind of warn away any evil spirits, or that it would prevent kind of the spirits from taking away the happiness of the new bride. Also, in arranged marriages, it really symbolized, hiding the new woman from her groom. So kind of like it was more like protecting the new maiden. I mean, more often now, I think you will traditionally see brides wearing a veil in a more traditional religious ceremony. I think a lot of brides nowadays opt to not have a veil, and that is okay too. You're going to see a lot of more like hair pieces. You're going to see flowers instead of the veil. So lots of really fun, creative, I would say, hair pieces to symbolize that it's still kind of the bride in a very special moment for them. And you know how I like to be inclusive in my shows and my language. So forgive me, because I'm going to talk a lot about the bride and the veil in this episode, as it's more traditionally seen with them. But if you are two grooms and one of you wants to wear a veil on your wedding, then honey, like, call me. I would die to be your wedding planner, or just send me those photos, because that sounds so fabulous too. But anyway, back to the veils. So here are just some things to consider. Number one, kind of up as we talked about recently, is the budget. Is the veil cost in your budget? I mean, you would be surprised that such a simple, delicate piece of tool can start at $300 and up. So is that included in your budget? Think about it. Number two, consider the length of a veil if you're thinking about having one. I would say here's just kind of some examples of the lengths. So we have short veils. So often you would see like a birdcage veil, super fun and vintagey. You will also see like more of simple, called an angel cut veil, and that's more of like a mid-length style. You'll see a more modern, or what's called a blusher veil. I feel like that's very trending right now, especially with all the elopements we've been having in the past year. There's long chapel veils. So they're going to be very long, almost just to the length of the dress though, not past that. And then you're going to see the very long, kind of more regal cathedral veils that are going to go beyond the dress, kind of sweeping as the bride walks down the aisle. So veil lengths, consider them. I would also consider the venue you're getting married at too. Obviously, if it's a church, maybe the cathedral veil is more appropriate. If it's just kind of like on the cliffs of near a beach, maybe you don't want to drag that long veil around the cliffs, or trip and stumble. So maybe the shorter or mid-length veil would work too. So kind of consider the location a little bit. Number three, matching your dress and your veil. Is this important? Yes, for the most part it is. If your bridal salon has different lengths of veils to try on, I highly suggest asking them to try them on with your dress. If you already have your dress, I think it is important to match your veil, because what if you have an ivory colored dress? You don't want to get a pure white veil, because that will clash, and then people their eyes might not be on you or the veil. They're kind of like, well, why is it mismatched? So that's something to consider. The color of your dress, the style of your dress. Does it have more embellishments on it? Is it more of a lacy style? So kind of taking the style, the color of your dress and matching with your veil, I think is a good idea. Number 4, consider your hairstyle before you purchase a veil. Are you wearing an updo or are you wearing your hair down? This is really important because some veils are actually designed to either sit flat on your head or they're able to kind of be tucked above a bun or under a bun. So determining your hairstyle first is really important when matching the veil that you want. And number 5, I would say consider the time frame of you wearing your veil. Do you have a 15-minute ceremony and you're going to purchase a veil for and only for a few photos? Maybe it's not worth it to you. Maybe you want to decide to wear your veil a little bit longer. So definitely consider the time frame of you wearing your veil, because they're often or not worn for such a short amount of time. It may not be worth the investment to you. Number 6 is kind of a topic that came up. So some brides may have kind of tattoos or ink on their backs that they want to cover with a veil. And I think nowadays, there's actually cover up and makeup for that. So I would say try that first before investing in a veil that might cost a lot to you. Also, if you don't want it to show, maybe there's a way that you could kind of alter your dress to cover it up as well. But if not, I would suggest, again, maybe doing some heavy makeup on there or tattoo makeup or you could also airbrush it out if you have some kind of tattoo or marking or maybe a scar that you don't want to show. But again, it's totally up to you. If you don't mind it after the ceremony and you do want to cover it for the ceremony with the veil, think about it. It's your comfort level. It's your day. I want you to feel as happy and yourself as possible. So if having a veil is really going to elevate that experience for you, then by all means go for it. But if you're kind of iffy and not sure, maybe you're getting married at the beach where there could be really, really windy, think about that, because it might not be worth managing the headache. So there's a little veil 101 for you. Short, sweet, to the point. If you learned something new today, do us a favor, smash that like button or subscribe to our channel, share it with a friend. Our business is based on referrals and we'd love to connect with someone new. As always, stay creative and be legendary.